So, first, thanks for having me, guys. I think it's just amazing what you're doing in the channel, and it's such a needed product and a platform for the vendors out there. So big thanks from me. I'm with Audit Sales Presentation System. As Kevin mentioned, I started my career here out with an MSP in the great state of New Jersey. Been doing this for about 18 years, and I have an engineering degree. The only reason why I tell you that is because I'm not very good at selling. I created Audit out of a need that I found in the industry, which was that it was difficult to have technical conversations with non-technical prospects. So I wanted to figure out a way to dime the system and come up with a platform to make it easier for me to sell. So if we think about the four phases of selling, we can break them into four very individual and distinct buckets: marketing, assessment, proposal, and sales presentation. Now, 5 years ago, that last category didn't exist. And that's what set me to try to figure out how to crack the code, and I created Audit. Kevin mentioned Robin Robbins, and I'll give her a shout out as well. I've been a member of her program since 2010. She makes it really easy to do the marketing, but the marketing basically leads up to a permission to buy, and you have to have an offer, which means that it usually ends in some sort of assessment. There's an offer to come in to do some sort of assessment, or fact finding. And what I could say is that if you went to 50 MSPs, you're going to get 50 different things that they're going to tell you, and it's done differently every single time. I kind of call that the black box. That third phase is the proposal phase, and I would argue that this is the easiest one, primarily because it's driven off of software. Products like Quozal, QuartWorks, VMS, they make it easy for you to do the quote. If you think about it, all you're doing really is trying to count the beans. You're trying to make sure nothing's missing and that you have the proper margins. Yet so many MSPs use this as a sales presentation. That fourth category, and I would say this is the most important phase, is the sales presentation. This is where you go in and you actually try to make that sale. Now for me, it took over 4 to 6 hours to prepare this every time, which made the process miserable. And Robin's marketing worked phenomenally well, but I didn't look forward to doing these presentations. It was different every time, and it made it hard for it to be measured. So the solution here, I knew that it had to be simple to understand, it had to be emotional because people buy based on emotion, it had to be easy to prepare, and it had to replace the proposal. And that's where Audit came in. So Audit is the #1 customer-facing sales presentation in the MSP industry. I can tell you that it's used by thousands of MSPs, and tens of thousands of end customers have now had the benefit of being able to make good buying decisions from the MSPs that have presented to them. So what's gap selling? Real quick, at the heart of every sale is a gap. It's where you are today, where you want to bring the customer to in the future, and the difference between the two represents the gap. Now, the greater the gap, the bigger the value, and the more likely that that prospect will buy from you. Rules of gap selling are simple. So #1, the prospect doesn't give a crap about your product or services. What you're there is to solve a problem for them. And if you can't figure out what that problem is, you're never going to make the sale. You're essentially selling change. And at the end of the day, you have to remember that our best prospects are another MSP's customer, and that MSP is rooting against you. So change is hard, and the incumbent MSP doesn't want you to change, but neither does the prospect, because the prospect doesn't really like changing. So which are you? Are you product-centric salesperson or problem-centric? If you think about product-centric, this is what the industry sets us up for. They give us product slicks, vendors give us battle cards, and we've been taught to sell off proposals, which means that we invite price resistance, and we're too quick to lower our price to make the sale. Problem-centric selling is where you want to be. We want to talk about the customer's problems. We want them to feel as though we're there to help solve those problems. We want to have business-level discussions, and ultimately, we want to sell the outcome and not compete on price. So if we understand that, let's go back to the proposal. Ask yourself, is the proposal simple to understand and emotional? I don't think so. It's nothing more really than a parts list if you think about it. And you look at it, it doesn't really show what the present state is. We could argue that it shows the future state. However, it doesn't do it in a way that will help you sell. Think about buying a car. If a salesperson put a sheet over that car and just tore the window sticker out, that's like selling off the proposal. What we want to do is we want to give them a ride in that car. We want them to smell the leather. We want them to hear the radio. We want them to feel the seat heater and get emotionally invested in their future. And that's what Audit will do for you. So this sales presentation is the key to gap selling for MSPs. This right here is what we call the summary impact page. Now, if your presentation does not look like this to your prospects, you're missing out, okay? We figured out the best way to present here. This is unexpected. When they see this, they immediately say, wow, look at all that red and yellow. That's called qualitative analysis. Then we do quantitative analysis. We want to give them the math behind it. In this case, we say, hey, you scored a 19. There's a lot of things that we need to do. And then we introduce the discussion about the financial side of things. Of course, they say, well, what's all the red and yellow mean? What's next? Now we know we have them, we're reeling them in. So we use simple to understand summary statements to tell them the state of each one of the audit items. Everything is fully customizable. You can change the categories, you can change the audit items, and you can certainly customize and change the summary statements. We also give you infographics. So everything that's red and yellow will automatically kick off an infographic to help them understand why these concepts are important. Here's the future state. So think about your proposal and think about how you can present with audit. This is like giving them a ride in the car. Let me do a quick toggle back and forth. Here's where they are today. Here's where you can be in the future. And then we simply tell them how much it costs, and you watch the deals close. Here is where I bring home I make the sale. So in these two states, I'm able to show here's where you are currently, here's where you'll be in the future. Here's the difference between those two states. I never give them the proposal. We give them the audit report. We let them take it back and have something of value. Audit will save you time. It'll improve your closing ratio. It'll increase your MRR. And you've got basically an unlimited opportunity to drive ROI through the roof. For merely a couple $100 per month, you can use audit forever. If I can help you make just one sale of about $1,500 of MRR, you'll pay for this system forever. So come over to our booth, or you can go over to the link. You can book a free, no obligation demo. If you come through here, you'll save $50 per month. We'll give you a free upgrade in the account. And as a bonus, we'll give you the first 60 days on us. We want you to be able to make some money with audit, so that way basically audit is free forever. So here's the URL. Come by, book a free demo. Come see us in our booth, and we thank you for your time.